Good evening everyone, welcome to the next video from Hacksukes, and in today's video we are going to look into reflected cross-site scripting XXX. So what basically is cross-site scripting? So as we looked in CSRF exercises, the cross-site request forgery or cross-site scripting is nothing but basically using JavaScript to somehow make the victim's browser or somehow make the client-side browser execute code on behalf of the attacker. So now here we have a vulnerability called reflected cross-site scripting, and as you see as a security level to low. So here it's asking what's your name. So if I give a name here, let's say Roy, and if I click on submit, I would check that it's giving hello Roy. Now what you need to know here is that each time if I go here and give an inspect element and go into the network tab, I will figure out that each time I say something like hello here and press an enter key, what this basically is doing is this is saying sending a request, right? It's saying a request method get, and if you look at the raw headers, you would see that it's sending this name equal to Roy. That is everything that is being sent through this PHP file via the name variable. And here in the response, as you see in the response, we see that it is returning pretty much what I have just sent. Like see, free hello. So whatever code I am sending, whatever data I am sending here via the name variable, that is being sent back to me with the help of this PHP code. So it's saying hello and just sending whatever that I send in the variable. Now in this case, if you know that here we go to view source and see that here we do not have any kind of sanitary measures. We are looking into the get request, taking the name variable from it and sending the name variable and concatenating it with the get name here in the PHP script. So if we send something that is gonna have script tag or any HTML tag for that matter, it is gonna render that in the victim's browser. Now since I don't want to render additional HTML code, I basically want to have control on the victim's browser. Now to do that, I am going to use a script tag and I'm going to write some JavaScript code which is being executed by the browser each and every time the victim opens this URL, right? Now why is this called reflected cross-site scripting? It's called reflected because whatever I send via this parameter will be executed the moment this link is opened. Like for instance, let's try this. Let's say script alert XXX script. So I submit this and you see I get an XXX prompt. Now I get this because this PHP code is sending me an HTML page taking in the input I have provided, taking in this input script alert XXX. Now this input is actually what that comes inside with the response that the web browser is sending back to me. So that is why I see an XXX prompt here, right? So if in this case I do something more than, let's say, script alert document.cookie, right? So if I do this, I see that here I will get a response. I will get a response which will return me the document.cookie of the victim which opens this link, right? So if I say script alert document.cookie and say I see this is my session ID and this is my security. So I can use this exact thing to send this cookie directly to a different web server which the victim is using or which the attacker is using and the attacker is having, which I had shown you in the previous tutorials, that you can just open nc-lvp at 1234 and you can use an iframe tag here to directly send your cookie to the web browser like via sending a web request. Like script, not alert in this case, I would give script source equal to http 127.0.0.1 at port 1234, and here let's say I give any random value and I use the script, right? So once this is being executed, I would have a response from this get who or whatever I send it here, right? Now if doing the same thing here, I can just put in document.cookie. I would get my document.cookie directly in the response, and hence the attacker will be able to session hijack you. So that is all about reflected XSS. Just like cross-site request forgery, you can use this to elevate your privileges, and you can use this for session hijacking and entirely take control of the victim's browser. Now if you go to DWVS security and if you go to medium level, you see that in medium case, if I give the same alert or if I give the script tags here and I click on submit, I would see the alert high. Why am I seeing this? Because whenever this computer is looking at, whenever this PHP code, this new PHP code is looking at something called script, it is replacing that, right? So hence we cannot make the XXX attack work here. So what can the hacker do in this case? Is there any way to sanitize this, to bypass this sanitization, this script sanitization? Well, yes, there is. We can use a little bit of creativity, and we can just use this normal XXX payload alert. And here what we are gonna do is we are gonna run the parenthesis and type script, right? So if the PHP code takes out this script tag, here, and this script tag that's here, we will still be able to delete this out or replace this out with nothing, and we'll still have the x66 payload running. So if we click on submit, we would see that we get a high, because using those script tags inside another script tags helps us bypass the sanitization, and hence we are able to take control and do that attack again, right? So here what an attacker basically needs to do is find a vulnerable find a vulnerable parameter, like for instance name parameter. Once you found the parameter, you can use this link and you can use any kind of code apart from alert high. You can use any kind of code, open a netcat listener and use that to get the person's cookie, and hence be able to make cross-site requests or sessions hijack with the help of this, right? You can also use the x66 framework of beef XSS framework to totally take control of the browser and load JavaScript scripts on it on the fly. So that was all about reflected cross-site scripting. The next we are going to look into XSS Store. So XSS Store. Now here you see, when we open this, we continuously get a message saying, like, let's reload. This is an XXX, right? Now why are we getting this message? We are getting this message because if we look into the inspect element here, I have already carried out this attack, and in this case we have this script alert, this is an XXX. Now what this says is basically, if I copy the inner HTML, you would see that coming here we can PHP info and how to change the reset database, right? So okay, so we reset the database, and now you see this is a test and this is a comment. So if I give a comment like comment, and if I say hi and sign guestbook, I would get a pretty much normal comment. Now in stored scripting, what happens basically is that if I give a comment say stored, and here in this message I give this alert, this is an XXX, and enclose this completely in script tags, just like we were doing it in all XXX attacks. If you go to completely in script tags and sign this guestbook, you would see that there is an alert that this is an XXX, right? So now opening this here will not basically give me a woe, because this is sanitizing my input. And how is it sanitizing my input? Let's see. So here the message here is being trimmed and the script is being replaced. So let's first go to DWVS security, go to medium, to low, and here XXX stored, we are gonna do stored 2. sign the guest book. So in this case, as you see, our XXX attack is has worked, but now in reflected case, if I open this back, I will not get any prompt unless I supply something from here. But in stored XXX, this is stored in the server, and hence every time the admin or some person loads this up, this message is gonna be executed, or this payload, this XXX alert, this is an XXX payload, is gonna be executed. Now, if we go to medium security, this can also be bypassed by using the same thing, that apart from using script tags here, I would use script first and then write another script inside it, and this will successfully help me bypass medium security. So that's all for XXX. I hope you understood the difference between stored or persistent XXX and XXX reflected. Reflected works only when someone gives you something, some value through this parameter, that is through the name variable in the URL. But in stored, once you have entered this comment here, and you can just give this normal link to anyone, and anyone who opens this will execute the payload in their browser. So this is of course more deadly than reflected XXX, but anyway, we can leverage, and a hacker can use both of them equivalently. I would suggest you to research about Beef XXX framework, which can help you elevate and use a lot of XXX based attacks, which would let you do a ton of other stuff in your browser and into the victim's browser. So that's all for this video, and we are done with our web hacking series level 1. So here we have discussed all these attacks which are very normal in web browsers, and if you haven't seen them yet, please go and check out our own videos. So I hope you really enjoyed it. Thank you.